Hey guys, welcome to the homestead. So today we're going to talk about what I do about aphids, and we're going to talk about garden burnout. People who start gardens and then burn out. But before we do that, we're going to enjoy the first raspberry of the year. I've been waiting a long winter for you. That is good. That is good. Okay, so let's talk about aphids. So on these tomato plants here, I've got lots of tomato plants, 50 tomato plants in the garden right now, growing well, mostly disease and pest free, but there are a few of them I noticed yesterday that do have some aphids on them, on some of the stems and some of the leaves, and it's beginning to take its toll. So here's the deal. What do I do about aphids? Usually nothing, because there's just not a whole lot that I can do about them that I have found that works well in the past. And I've tried a number of things. There is a number of recommendations usually that come in every year on aphids. What I have found that works mildly is the neem oil. However, if the aphids really want to go after a certain tomato plant, chances are they're going to do that and they're going to take it out. And it's just not going to produce well. I've never seen aphids kill one of my tomato plants. What they've usually done is just kind of weaken it to the point where the plant just doesn't produce a whole lot. And so that's what you see on every once in a while. There's a plant here I've found that has a little bit of aphid buildup on it. Let's go take a closer look at one of them. So if you can see right there, that's an aphid crawling on my plant. And this tomato plant in particular is a little bit more spindly than some of the other ones. And this poor tomato plant, I've cleaned a lot of them off already. Cleaned them off the other day, but this guy still remains. And so they're kind of clinging onto this plant. Again, I have found that neem oil works mildly well. There are definitely a number of pesticides, insecticides that you can get that will kill these guys and knock them off completely, but I have yet to find a very good organic brand or organic aphid problem solver, that's organic. I just haven't found one yet that works really well. Neem oil, it seems like, works pretty well, and because I use neem oil effectively on other plants, really effectively on other plants in my garden, I just use neem oil for the aphids as well. But I haven't found a surefire way to get rid of aphids. So that's why I always tell people, like I did in my other gardening video recently the other day, is that always plant more than the aphid went around the corner. He didn't want to be on camera. Always plant double of what you're going to need. So if you need 25 plants to make what you want for canning and for over the winter, then plant 50 plants. If you only need 10 plants, then plant 20. If you only need 5, plant 10. But always plant double, because things like aphids and pests and whatever else, disease, fungus, is going to take about, at worst case, half of your plants. There's a couple more aphids right there if you can see them sitting on top of this plant. There was a bigger buildup the other day, but they've since, because of my efforts at manually removing most of them, they're gone, but there's still a few left. So it just is what it is. Aphids are always going to be around, and I just, it's not worth it to me to just go to war over every single mild infestation, when I know that for the most part, most of my plants are going to turn out well, and I'm going to get the produce that I want out of them. Guys, most years when I'm in my garden and I'm doing battle with pest pressures, whether it be insects or otherwise, most years everything is going pretty well. It feels like this.
Gold dust at my feet on the sunny side of the street.
And then there's other years where you got to bear down and it kind of feels like this.
Headshots, it's like boom, headshots, boom, headshots, get in the box, it's like boom, headshots, boom, headshots, boom, headshots, get in the box, it's like boom.
And then there's those years where it just all goes to pot. You throw up your hands and you do this. I've made videos before that, your garden sometimes can be a battlefield, and that's totally what it is. And that can be one of the reasons where you get burned out on what you're doing, building a garden. The other main reason why I see people get burned out on gardens and they just give up, they get frustrated, is because they try to do too much. So for our garden, our biggest thing is tomatoes. Our second biggest thing is cucumbers. Our third biggest thing is peppers. And our fourth biggest thing is right there, onions. We love onions. So I concentrate in a few certain areas, things I know that my family is going to enjoy and eat. Also, our popolo that we have the seeds for sale on our website, and our achiote cucumbers. I eat a lot of those achiote cucumbers fresh right off the vine throughout the year. And so those things are big too. But I only grow what I know my family is going to eat. And some things I know that are easy to grow. I don't want to have, here's the deal, folks. If you plant a number of things and it's always a failure, or you plant things that you know is going to fail year after year, they failed year after year before, and you keep planting them, eventually you're just going to throw up your hands and give up. Plant things, experiment, understand that knowing when you start a garden, your first few years are going to be experiments. You're going to find out what works best for your area. Things you have more of a green thumb on than others. And so you take those successes and you build on those successes. Find something that you know your family is going to eat, that grows well and easy in your garden, in your area, and then continue on with those things and then build around those things. If you continue to plant too many things for you to handle, too many things for you to get all the harvest in a timely manner, you're going to give up, you're going to get frustrated, and it's just not going to be something that you're going to want to continue on. So really, I think the biggest thing that I have found for people when it comes to getting garden burnout and just giving up and getting frustrated with it, growing tired of it, just not having fun with it anymore, is by growing too much, growing things you're not going to eat, and then just being frustrated with all the amount of failures that you have. Again, find a couple things that work well, okay, 2 or 3 things that work well in your area, and then things that your family will eat, even eat raw. I love just coming out to my garden and picking cucumbers and eating them raw. I like coming out and picking okra and just eating it raw. I love tomatoes raw. We eat that in pico de gallo just every summer. Throw in the popolo and the onions and the tomatoes, the fresh tomatoes, and you have some garlic, and you have some amazing pico de gallo, maybe even a little bit of spicy pepper. You can eat it all raw. It doesn't take a lot of prep time. So things your family will eat raw. I love the cucumbers, the peppers even. My peppers, you can eat that raw. My wife this year is going to be juicing them for her juicing treatment that she's doing. So things that your family is going to eat, you can get an immediate satisfaction by picking those and then consuming them. There's an amazing satisfaction that comes with that. So things your family is going to eat, things that will grow easy, and then you can build on those successes and accomplishments. And then the things that fail, maybe try it, the next year, and if it doesn't do it again, then get rid of it. Or maybe give up on it, pass it on a year, and then try it next year. But skip the things that fail, skip and try different things. You want to have more successes than failures, and if you do that, you're going to see your garden as worthwhile and see it as fulfilling. So there you go. That's one way that I would recommend in avoiding getting burned out with your garden. Because I see a lot of people who are like, oh, I'm just not going to do a garden this year. Or my garden this year just didn't turn out the way I wanted, so I just gave up. And I don't want you to do that. I don't want you to give up. I want you to succeed, and I want you to grow healthy produce for your family that you're going to eat on a regular basis. All right. That's kind of my garden video. Let me show you. There's all my tomatoes growing really well. And I think in about 2 weeks, I'm going to have tomatoes, fresh tomatoes. There's already a lot of tomatoes on the vines. And then I've already got some cucumbers growing up on that cattle panel right there. They'll climb all the way up that cattle panel, and then I'll be able to reach in from behind on the other side over there and pick them as they just hang down through the cattle panel. And I've already got some cucumbers, little mini cucumbers on some small vines there. You can't really see them yet, but they'll be ready to go in about a week or so, maybe. I like them when they're young and fresh there. So I just pick them and I can just eat them as a snack. And so those will be ready. And then my onions, tops haven't started dying on those yet. So I think we've got a little bit of time still to go on those, although they are starting to bulb. And at this point, I'm going ahead and putting some of my amazing super juice on those onions. And if you haven't seen that video, I'll link it at the top or at the end of this video, our super juice video, how to make great super juice for your garden. All right, guys, that's the garden right now this year. And of course, look at these red raspberries. There's a whole bunch of them. Let's see if we can find another one. Oh, wait. Oh, no, he's not quite ready yet either. Almost. Oh, wait, there's one. There's an ant on it. Get off there, ant. That's mine. Arr. Oh, I think I see one there behind it too. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. That's going to be good. He's not quite all the way ripe, but he's ripe enough. Let me see if I can get that one behind there. Oh, there's another one back here. I see. Oh, maybe two. There's two. Yeah. Look at that. Pull it off. Yeah. Look at that. He's ripe enough. I'll eat him. Oh, look at that. There's the third one. Oh, yeah. That's good eating. I just had the ant. There's an ant on it. Ant was like, get off my lunch. Okay, so I got some fresh raspberries. All right, guys. Hope your garden is growing. I know mine is. I'll keep you posted on what all comes out of it this summer. See you next time at the homestead. Hey there. Thanks for watching our channel. If you're looking for great off-grid homesteading videos, this is the channel for you. Hit that subscribe button and be sure to like the video you just watched. You can also feel free to send us your questions by going to anamericanhomestead.com on our contact page and send me your question. Your question might get made into a video. In the meantime, check out some of these other great videos. Oh wait, go ahead and click them. Go ahead.